how do you think, we touched on this a little bit before, but as more software goes into the vehicle, how do you think this change is going to change the relationship that manufacturers have with their customers? Do you think it will, fundamentally change the nature of relationship? At the moment, you buy a car, as you say, you maybe only go back to the OEM when there's a problem or when it needs servicing or replacing. We're now in theory, I suppose, talking about a relationship that happens daily with updates and services, and it feels like a very different type of relationship.
Yeah. So as I already said, in former times, the OEM did not have any relationship to the end customer. So only the dealer had this relationship. And the OEM was just waiting what happens.
Yeah.
And now they have a direct possibility to contact the customer. They have the possibility to inform the customer, to get feedback from the customer. So this Mercedes Me program, for instance, has different channels that you can use, and the customers are directly registered. They get information. They can get product updates. They can order additional services. So now the OEMs have a direct connect to the customer.
Wow. And do you think we're going to see loyalty levels increase with that? I was looking at some numbers about the loyalty of Tesla in the US recently being, the leader over there. Do you think the other OEMs will catch up as they, shape these new relationships?
Yeah. So I think they still consider Tesla as a leader in that area, but they are catching up. I think also it's a possibility for the OEMs to create that loyalty, because as a driver of the car or as a customer of the OEM, you get more involved and more information, and you have more contacts with the OEM.
Yes. And how far along this transition do you feel the OEMs are? Do you feel they're all at a similar stage, these traditional OEMs, or are some way ahead, leaving others in their wake?
What I see, and when I talk to my architect colleagues here, for instance, in Germany, I think the German OEMs are more or less, they are advancing fast, and they are approximately on the same level, I think.
Okay. And do you think that the traditional OEMs, is life more complicated for them driving this change than with the startups, the new entrants, or can they make their size and scale work for them rather than against them?
It's more difficult for them because they have this all these established structures. They have these the established staff. They have all these complex product portfolios. For a new entry, that might be easier, because you can set up the whole company more on a greenfield approach, and you can keep your product portfolio lean. Maybe you offer only 2 or 3 models, and you do not have so many variants possible in these models. Then all those sales processes, all the backend application, the vehicle master data, everything is less complicated. And then you can, you can set up an online sales model, for instance, from the beginning. You need not transform your existing model into a new one, have large discussions with the dealer groups and everything. So I think it's many things are easier for a new entrant here.
Yeah, definitely. And looking at, we spoke about some of the innovations and the connectivity services that software is bringing to vehicles. Do you think the OEMs are being sort of adventuring enough in reimagining what the vehicle is and what it can be used for and how it works? Are they? Do you think they're taking small steps rather than big steps?
Well, if I see, for instance, Mercedes-Benz, 3 or 4 years ago, I thought they would really have more difficulties in transforming to electric vehicles, in bringing up all these new services. But they have really done a good job. I think they have now created very nice electric models. For instance, they have developed the MBUX, so the Mercedes-Benz user experience. It has a good quality. The speech recognition is very good. It's always rated above the competition. So I'm really positively surprised by my client. What they have done within really a very few years.
Yeah.
If you think back, maybe only 10 years ago, there was a product life cycle of 7 or 8 years. So it would have taken them 7 or 8 years to develop a new car model. And now this is all has accelerated a lot. So they can bring up new models very fast within 2 or 3 years. Everything is done via software. Also the development process.
Yeah.
It's all virtual. We have we have done very nice things. For instance, for the vehicle testers,
Yeah.
they set up this HoloLens, this
Yeah.
sort of
Microsoft.
glasses where you can
Yes.
have information then, and they sit into the cars. And in former times, they had long lists what to check. So they check the different buttons, if the windows goes up and down and everything. And now this is all digital. They have that HoloLens. They sit into the car, and then they are led through the whole testing process. And the HoloLens tells them, now you test the windows. And then if they look to the door, then those buttons they have to press to lower the window, they are highlighted. They have a colored frame, so the tester sees where
Yeah.
he has to touch.
Wow.
And then if, for instance, if the window does not work properly, then they can just by gesture
Yeah.
open an error ticket. And also the last 60 seconds are attached as a video. So the
Okay.
developers in the lab, they get this ticket. They have the film attached that the window did not open correctly.
Yeah.
Within only a few minutes.
Wow.
And in former times, they would have filled out some paper lists,
Yeah.
handed in that to somebody, and maybe
Yeah.
2 weeks later, somebody would have looked on this paper. And now this is all. We have done that in our grip lab here.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That's real innovation, and that is one example. That software is now everywhere, not only in the car. It supports the daily work of the engineers, of the
Yes.
testers, and it's fascinating. Software is coming everywhere. It's all use cases that we have are now going digital.
Right. Yeah, it sounds like maybe some of the OEMs are quite far along this journey, really, at least internally. Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose lastly, I was just going to ask, maybe there isn't, but really, but are there any lessons that you think the OEMs can learn from some of the big software businesses? I'm thinking your Googles, your Amazons, these sort of guys, how they
Yeah,
operate.
they are looking intensely on these software companies, and they are also looking which concepts do they have to make better software, get more flexible, have a shorter release cycle.
Yeah.
So very
Faster.
very often in the last years,
Yeah.
I've said to my client, I understand what you want, but we do not run a Netflix business.
Right.
We are building and selling cars, so we have to be careful.
Yeah.
But everybody is looking at those Netflixes.
Yes.
For instance, now we are building applications, not monolithic large applications, but the functionality grouped in microservices that communicate with each other,
Yeah.
like Netflix does. And also, if one of these services has an outage, we test that using a tool that is called Chaos Monkey.
Right.
Then we, yeah,
Dear
and
me.
or the OEMs, but also we as Capgemini, coming from that more development of more monolithic applications. We are carefully watching, we are adapting these concepts, we are using it, we are transferring those ideas to our industry, the automotive industry.